Welcome everybody to another episode of 8192 The Truth. This is Joel D. Supernaw, and I'm gonna try to have a little bit of energy today for you. I notice a lot of times when I come on and I talk without energy, I can't listen to it. I can't listen to it. I'm not smart enough to change. I'm not smart enough to change many things, but I do notice when I have a higher energy level, I do better. I do better throughout the course of my day. I've talked about putting a smile on my face, making myself put a smile on my face. And I think one of the reasons this show is doing so well. I mean, we were as high as, I think, 124th overall last week on iTunes. Man, that's incredible. That is absolutely incredible. And I said from the start, what's going to happen is there are more of us than there are of them. There are more just basic common people struggling in the everyday things in life than it is the cool guys, the famous guys, the rich guys, the this, that, and other. And they all have just as many problems, if not more, than we do. But our numbers started going through the roof. And I've resonated with you guys. You said, you know what, that guy's breaking it down for me. You guys let me know in different kinds of messages and everything. But one of the things when I'm trying to give you more content, because that's what you ask for, you guys, when I become a part of your day, it's a double-edged sword. When I become a part of your day, that's cool. That means I am gaining steam. The product, Kevin and I's product, is gaining steam, and the opposite side of that is then I need to give you content every day, and I'm struggling in my life, my day-to-day life, just like the rest of you. So it's not always the easiest thing in the world. So I'm gonna try to give you more energy. I'm gonna try to speak passionately about the things that I talk about. That's a relatively simple thing to say. Have more energy, be more passionate. What am I passionate about? What am I passionate about? If you guys listen to the show, you know I'm passionate about mainly one thing: my son Lad. I have an amazing, amazing son, Lad, and I've never shied away from talking about him. And as he becomes a young man, I'm so thankful of how this world has made me be his father. I'm not ashamed of where we are at. We've worked really, really hard to get where we're at. As you know, Lad's, fought his way through the autism spectrum. He's trying out for the baseball team. He's trying out for the high school baseball team, and he's went to every single practice. He's went to every single practice for 6 months. What's more important about going to every single practice and trying as hard as you can and picking up private lessons and practicing with me and doing everything that he's supposed to do is the leaders, his coaches, have come out and they sounded on one thing that has been the key to Lad's success. Lad talked about fighting his way through the autism spectrum. And again, I haven't been able to go back and listen to that episode. I've heard a lot of great things about it. People contact me and they tell me about those things. And it's just too hard for me. I'm a parent, man. I live and die through my son, and when he shares those painful experiences, they're hard for me. One of the things that Lad has done, and it's amazing to me. It's amazing to me. He never quits ceasing to amaze me. Not only has Lad went to every single practice and done everything the coaches have asked, and the coaches have come out and made kind of a sounding board, work hard, show up, and that there's a huge part of success in doing that. Don't skip practices. Be positive when you're here. Everything you want in an employee, everything you want in an athlete. And there's a very, 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 very good chance that Ladd gets cut from his high school baseball team tomorrow, either today or tomorrow night. Very, very, very good chance. He's cognizant about that. He's cognizant, and I believe he has been the entire time. So I know for myself, athletically, if I wasn't able to be one of the better athletes on the team, I wouldn't have stuck it out for 6 months, knowing that there's a very, very good chance that I was going to get cut. And yet he has. And quite frankly, he's probably, you know what? I'm not going to say quite frankly. There's 29 kids that tried out for the team. There's 15 of them that are going to stay on the team. I don't think Ladd's probably, if you're just saying skill-wise, Ladd's probably not one of the top 15. But there are there tangibles? Are there tangibles? See, I don't want to have Ladd make the team and be the token special kid, because he's not. He deserves and he wants to be treated like everybody else. But if I'm being fair to Ladd, and I'm actually coaching Ladd like he hasn't been coached, I truly believe that the coaches on his team have put him in a category that, isn't this great that he comes to practice and works hard every day and has a positive attitude? But you know what? He's not good enough to make this team. I believe that's probably been their attitude. Man, he is a freshman. Okay, he is a freshman, and those guys haven't been coaching him up. They really haven't been coaching him up. And I'd like to go introduce myself to his coaches, and I would like to let them know, hey man, my kid did everything that you asked him to do. Everything that you asked him to do. Not only did he do everything that you asked him to do, you also promoted to him that there was an importance in what he was doing. And now you're going to whack him. Where did you go wrong at? Where would I have liked the coach? Well, I'd like to have you work with him more. When my son comes home to me and says, there was 10 people in the cage last night and the coach, gave criticism to 7 of them, and I was one of the 3 kids he didn't give any criticism to, I know I'm not doing everything right. So they're just not coaching me up. So, I'm rambling here, but I'm going to get through this. It is so disappointing to me that freshman baseball. What should we look for in the freshman baseball team? And should we cut 14 kids? I'm going to say yes and no. I'm going to say no, man. You can't cut kids. Not in an upper middle class school. You have 2 teams. Could you imagine? I couldn't imagine. I come up as a wrestler. I still love wrestling. I couldn't imagine walking into the wrestling practice again before the year ever starts. Before the high school baseball team, this is tryouts. They're trying out for the season. So they're going to cut kids before the kids ever have a chance to play. They're going to cut the kids right now. And did you notice what I did? I was getting ready to repeat what I said a second ago, and I didn't. That just happened. That's called improvement. That's called progress. So they're getting ready to cut these kids before the season ever starts. Yeah, I disagree with it. Would I disagree with it? Would I care about it if Ladd was one of the cool kids? Ladd was the the cool kid on the team that has been a superstar all throughout it, and we're just worrying about winning and winning and winning. Would I have the perspective that I have had my son not had to go through everything that he'd went through? No, probably not. Probably not. Do I wish? If I'm being truthful? 8192 The Truth. You know, I mean, this is just a show. This is a podcast. It's about me and Brother Sin bringing you content and hoping you listen and hoping we can build something. But right now, I'm just talking to you. And I'm trying to be as real as I possibly can. Do I wish that my son would have never had to experience any of the tough times that he's had to experience? Do I wish he would be one of the top 5 baseball players on the team right now? Would take away all of the struggle that he had. Man, if I'm being, no, man, no. That everything that he's been through, it's not so much everything he's been through. It's how he has attacked it. Man, this show is about change, and if we can't learn a valuable lesson from someone like Ladd, who again, I said it again. See, I'm trying to get rid of the word again. I'm trying to get rid of me repeating things. I don't want to talk like everybody else, but I do not want to continue to repeat myself and say a word over and over and over again. It drives me nuts. Jill brought that to my attention, and I'm going to change it. Anyway, what can we learn from Ladd? Well, we can learn humility. We can surely learn humility. I can surely learn humility. Ladd is getting that fire. He's getting that fire in him too. The fire that makes him realize, you know what? You guys aren't that far ahead of me. You are not that far ahead of me. He's going to have a big disappointment. You know, knowing you're getting ready to lose something and losing something are two different things. But I bet when I come back in a few days and I talk about this, I'm going to have another lesson for you. Ladd's going to give me another lesson. We went out and we played baseball the other day, he and I. And I'm a damn good coach. One of the reasons you guys listen to me is because I motivate you. I know us as human beings. And I spent an hour and 15 minutes just saying, look, Ladd, look at how far we've come. Look at how many buckets of balls we've hit. Look at how much time we've spent on these different fields. And he did great. He looked like a baseball player. He pitched like a baseball player. He hit like a baseball player. It was emotional for me to look at how far he's come, but it was also really, really motivating because he's not done yet. We had a talk afterwards. We played baseball and we got ready to go to the gym. And I said, Ladd, I'm your dad, and there might be a time where I come to you and I say, you know what, son? I think we need to concentrate on other things. I don't think baseball is the sport you need to be playing. But that time's not right now. I know how far you've come. You've improved so much. And to be a freshman in high school before the season ever starts, to take my kids' dreams away. Man, I couldn't do that, but I would do it. I said, man, this isn't. I'm not going to have my son be humiliated. He's not, man. He can play baseball. He can pitch. He can catch. He can hit. He can play baseball. Is he one of the top 15 players? skill-wise? No, probably not. But he deserves an opportunity to continue to play. So I need to continue to work and nurture that. Take it as far as I can. So we go to the gym and we have a great workout. Jake Smith wasn't able to work out with us, but he gave the practice plan. I went through it perfectly. And I seen, did you see? I almost said that. I almost said again. I went through the practice perfectly, and I saw a bunch of improvement in Ladd over the last 3 weeks. That's all he does is improve. We're going home, had a great workout, just a wonderful workout, wonderful day together. And he probably said one of the coolest things he ever said to me is he said, you know what? You're my dad, you're my big brother, and you're my best friend. He actually said friend. I threw best in there. And it meant the world to me. It meant the world to me. And this long, drawn-out epilogue of how great my son is leading me to my one true point for you parents. You parents with small children. You parents with 8 or 9 year olds. Man, start doing stuff with your kids. Man, I've said this forever because I had to do all of these things with my son, and I'm so glad that I did. I'm so glad that I had to teach him how to swim, and I had to teach him how to hit, and had to teach him how to do all of these different things. Because I got to spend all that time with him, and we have this great, great bond. This podcast is about change, but it's also about learning lessons. Well, do you know how many times I go to a gym and I see a parent with their son or their daughter, I'm going to send the kid over to do some exercise but not do it with them? Give their son to somebody else to take a class but not do it with them? Why? Why are you so scared of spending time with your kids? What is it that I'm missing? And this isn't just me talking about this now. It's just the first time I've brought it to your attention. Man, you guys got to get active with these kids. One of the dreams that I have is starting a health program called Lads and Dads. Because the bond that Ladd and I have, whether I go up and down or I make $1 million or I fall flat on my face, if you haven't seen me in a while, like my buddy Danny Russell, you're going to come to me if you've followed me on Facebook, like most of my people that know me have, people that truly know me. They're going to say that bond you have with your son is amazing. It's powerful. That's what Danny said. I see, yeah, I know that. I know it is. Man, you guys got to have that same bond. Quit telling these kids what they can't do. Do it with them. Start working out with your kid. How is your child supposed to know how to work out or look up to you if you won't do it with them? If you won't go run with them, ride a bike with them? I don't know who came up with the idea that somebody else was supposed to raise our children, but it's wrong, man. Look what we do to these kids. We take them to practice and we leave them there. Or we watch the practice and then criticize them afterwards. We drop them off at school. Our whole life we drop them off at school. Look what I did. Look what me and Jennifer did. We put our son in special needs because he couldn't communicate with us. This is my son's words. We segregated him. But it doesn't matter if we segregated him or not. We took him to an institution and we left him there all day. And then if we couldn't pick him up, we had somebody else take him to our house. Told him to do his dishes, do some homework. Quit playing video games. All we did was tell this child what to do. And we didn't do anything with him. I talk about this I talk about this, and I watch other parents. I watch it all the time. And do you know how many parents I see actually spending time with their kids? Hardly any. Hardly any. You might have everything that I don't have. You might have them locked and loaded, ready to go to college. You might have a big house for them to live in and nice clothes, and they might be cool in school and everything. But have you spent any time with them? Are they going to have to make up memories? Man, you love your dad. I love my dad. And I'll tell you stories about him, but I only have a couple. I don't have that many stories about my dad. Do you want to emulate your dad? How did your dad treat you? Did you guys spend a bunch of time together? Or are you like me? Are you going to make up a different history? My dad was so tough and my dad was so strong and he taught me all these lessons. Well, my dad did. He taught me a lot. I mean, he was my dad. It's the only one I got. I spend more time doing stuff with my son in a week than I ever did with my dad in my entire life. That's a true story. Now, I don't want a pity party. I don't want any of that. This is me giving you the most solid advice as I can. Do something with those kids, man. And you know what? If you are the parent, or if you are the parent that does all these things with your kid, when somebody comes up to you and says, "Oh man, you're so great. I see you with your kid all the time." Ask them why they don't do the same thing. What are you scared of? Do you not know how to work out? Do you not know how to exercise? Do you not know how to eat right? Go to the store. Go to the store and look what's going on. You got a fat woman and a fat man full of garbage, full of poison on the cash register. Look at the little fat kids already eating right behind them. Everybody's caught up in the negative. Everybody's caught up in that, and it's never going to change. You're poisoning your kids, and you're putting them behind the 8 ball at an early age. And that's wrong, man. That's wrong. So when you want to change today, when you want to say, "Hey, the Godfather got me fired up today," go get in your kids' room and say, "Hey, come here, man. Come here. Try this out. Come here. Hey, be honest with them. Man, I've let myself go. I need to get back on track, and I need your help doing it. I want you to do it with me. I want you to get in shape with your old man. I want you to get in shape. Go grab your fat wife, okay? Go grab her up and say, "Hey," that was a little bit Covey Covington of me. "Hey, let's make this a family thing." She's going, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Then you're going to try to actually be a man for the first time. And you're going to say, "No, we're going to do this as a family. We're going to do this as a family. We're going to get tighter as a family. We're going to get better as a family. And we're going to get stronger as a family." Are you letting your wife and your grandparents and everybody else raise your kids, and then they're going to hand that kid off to you, at 6 or 7 years old, because you've provided for them, and then at 6 or 7, you're going to teach them how to be an athlete or something? They dropped them off. You haven't done anything with your kid? You haven't done nothing with your kid? Man, don't be that guy. Don't be that parent. Do something with your kid. This is a pretty big rant. Am I coming down on you? Yeah, probably. Am I on a high horse? It's the only horse I can be. It's the only horse that I can jump up on and say, "You know what? I'm a leader in this aspect. I've done all this stuff with my son. I've lived this with my son. And he's an amazing person. He's taught me a hell of a lot more than I've taught him. And today's lesson is do something with your kid. Don't let everybody else raise your kid. And another lesson you guys have all been coming at me on. Joel, tell me about how to buy a car. Tell me the ins and outs of the car business. I really want to know. I really want to know how I get a great deal. This happens to me 20 or 30 times a week. Somebody will send me a text. And I will say the exact same thing every single time. Go to CarMax. I want you to do this for me. Everybody that wants to, actually, anybody that wants to buy a car in the next 3 years, if you have a CarMax near you, go through the process. It will blow your mind. It will blow your mind. It is not anything about the car business that I've ever known in my life. Nothing. You walk in, they ask you if you want some coffee, what you're looking for. They take some information down, and then they show you the cars. They don't even come with you. You can go around if you want to test drive something. Yeah, they'll go with you to test drive. They're never going to ask you to buy the car. You have to ask them, how can I purchase this car? And then at the end of it, they're going to show you what it costs to buy the car. And if you say no, you get to get up and leave. You get to get up and leave. Now, here's another part of this. Here's another part of this CarMax thing. After you leave, they're not going to contact you. They're not going to harass you. You're going to go home. If you decide to buy that car or not, it's up to you. It's 100% up to you. If you have a trade-in, they're going to run it through, and they're going to give you a bid, and they will give you that money, I think, for 30 days. It is the clearest way to buy a car. I went through the CarMax process. And I was like, oh, wow, this is a game changer. This is a game changer. This is how it should be done. Every single time that I'd been in the car business from that day, I wish we did it like CarMax. So guys, do something with your kid today and go to CarMax. Go to CarMax. The FBI, man, oh man, the president's beating up the FBI. We have this horrible, horrible tragedy that happened in Parkland, Florida, just 10 days ago, very short time ago. And it brought us to the attention of all the things that could have happened that didn't happen there. And, everybody made it a political statement and this, that, and the other. Well, the one thing that strikes me is, what does the FBI need to concentrate on? Does the FBI need to concentrate on a corrupt system called NCAA athletics? And in doing so, what's their end game? Right now, it is NCAA basketball. They're going to, we thought it was just going to be Louisville, but now it's spreading all over the place. The tentacles of the investigation are spreading all over the place. And what they're going to do is they're going to take down a lot of people, they're going to take down a lot of people that are bit players in this thing. The fact of the matter is, people have been buying athletes, top tier athletes, to go to their program in one way or another, for 40, 50, 60, 70 years, however long there's been a way to capitalize and win games by getting a better player to come to your establishment. Well, the NCAA athletic system is corrupt, it's broken, it's full of holes. And what the FBI is doing is they're coming in and they're attacking the bit players in this thing. Coach, for, this guy got $2,700, this athlete got $2,700 out of this age. It's just, they'll make it look like it's the scummiest thing in the world. They're doing it at a time where March Madness is coming on board. As a matter of fact, Arizona, their coach just got hit with some innuendos about him being hemmed up on wiretapping. It is the biggest. First off, why is the FBI involved in this? What is the FBI doing? This isn't about fixing a competition. That's a big deal. Fixing a game, that would be a big deal. This is about guys getting people to go to their program, and now the FBI, everybody's a rat. Everybody in the world's a rat. This guy rats on that guy, and this guy rats on that guy, and this guy wears a wiretap. It's easy to get to. We're going to see a bunch of that coming out in the politic things going on. This guy rats on this guy, and so on and so forth. But the FBI does not need to be spending their time and their resources on the NCAA. The NCAA needs a rehaul. These athletes need to get something at the end of the day other than senior night. I'm a huge KU Jayhawk basketball fan. I would be a huge KU Jayhawk football fan, but their team's been bad for so long, it's hard to stay in the pocket with that. And last night was beautiful. It was beautiful. They had 3 seniors and KU won. And at the end of the game, they got to, talk about what a great experience it's been. KU's been on ESPN 10 to 15 times this year. How many millions of dollars in advertisement has been spent during their broadcast? Multi-billion-dollar business the NCAA is, and when a kid is done with school, generally they don't have a pot to piss in, a couple memories. They become that guy. And the NCAA just keeps getting richer and richer. And they keep cutting more and more programs. How many millions and millions of dollars does a successful Division I program like Oregon, like the University of Oregon, basketball, football, how many millions of dollars does that create, as well as having a sponsor like Nike in their backyard? Doesn't have a NCAA wrestling team. NCAA wrestling is going, it's going bye-bye, slowly but surely. And it needs to change. The FBI does not need to be tearing apart these basketball programs, because at the end of it, nothing's going to change. The crooks in this are the people that run the NCAA, the people that keep young athletes, from being able to compete, eat, and live. If you're going to give them a scholarship, you have a responsibility to them. If they don't want to follow through with those responsibilities as becoming a decent student, well, that's on them. But the guys that go through it all year, every year, do everything you tell them to do, and at the end of it, you toss them out the door, just like they're going to do with Ladd. The baseball team's going to do that with Ladd. The coaches said, hey, we have this huge importance on having a great attitude, coming to practice and working hard. Okay. Well, Ladd, you did that, but guess what? You're not good enough to make the team. That's getting ready to happen. The NCAA does the same thing with their athletes. Come into my program, help us generate millions and millions and millions of dollars for this program. And at the end of it, you may or may not have an education. You probably won't. You won't have any jobs. But maybe you can coach. Maybe you can coach. I'm not trying to make a political statement. The FBI needs to focus on things that matter. The police departments need to focus on the things that matter. I would like to see somebody in West Lynn come up with an idea how our schools can be protected from the outside and not pull everybody over and gain more money to pay yourselves, to justify your position. There's holes in this world we live in. How do we fix it? Well, first off, we have to say something's wrong. I love what Jalen Rose said. Jalen Rose, former NBA player, commentator on ESPN. He said, I wish all the NCAA players would quit playing basketball. Walk out. Walk out. Quit playing. Do not do it. That's the only way it's going to change. We talk about fighting on this thing all the time. And the UFC, it's hard to be through and through a UFC fan as I am right now and not point out how jacked up things are. These athletes that fight in the UFC 20 or 30 times, they walk away with nothing, with no pension. They're on the UFC video game in perpetuity. They've given up their likeness. They have no rights. They have more stipulations upon them all the time. It's hard not to say, hey man, there's something wrong with that. But until they say we can't do this anymore, I'm not going to do this anymore. All of us are not going to give you a business. They have no business without the labor. The labor needs to be taken care of a little bit more. It truly does. They need to have a clear-cut objective to succeed beyond their career. I've maintained this for years and years and years. Now, I don't know how to tie it together, but I do know this. In the NFL, in the NBA, in Major League Baseball, in the NHL, 4 of our mainstay professional leagues, if a player has anywhere, I believe it's anywhere from 3 to 5 years of service, they're going to have some kind of pension. This is the only thing that I ask out of the UFC. Come to me and tell me what I need to do to get a pension. Should be pretty clear. You guys have the bean counters. It should be as clear as saying, well, if this guy fights 20 times in the UFC, statistics show it's going to be 3 main events, 10 undercards, whatever it is. I think we can pay that. I think we can pay that guy. I think we can take some money out of here, put it in this account over here, let it grow. These guys turn 55. They can draw $1,200 a month. Something. There has to be something there. If these guys go out and risk their life, because that's what they're doing, to fight in your organization 20 times, they need to be taken care of. And is the number 20? Could it be 15? It could be whatever. but they need to be taken care of. There needs to be a way to take care of these athletes. But until these guys, you got the same thing. I'm a big professional wrestling fan, and the same thing. These guys, at the end of their career, all they get to do is look weird, because they're professional wrestlers and they stay on their gimmick. And what they do for me is they do these shoots, and I listen to them. I listen to them almost every night. It's how I get to sleep. I pull up YouTube and watch a different shoot interview and fall asleep that way. Anyway, it needs to change, but is it? Probably not. Probably not. You know what will change? Do you know what will change? Your credit score. If you go to Equifax.com, sign up and learn about your credit, learn how you can have better credit and what that means, your credit score will change. You can do that for yourself. That will help you. Equifax.com, there's only 3 major reporting agencies that will dictate if you can buy a house, if you can buy a car. They are Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. Equifax is the biggest one. Go to their site and check it out, Equifax.com. What is going on, people? I do not want to talk about fighting today. I want to talk about being good to your kid. I want to end this with one lesson, and one lesson alone. Spend time with your kid. Don't talk about it, be about it. Me and Brother Sin are going to come on tomorrow, and we're going to light this thing up. We're going to have a big show, me and the Sin, tomorrow. So for myself, thanks for joining me. Deuces.